So, hi Liz.
Right.
We've been chatting about New Year and what it looks like and where we are and some themes. And what really came out in our last conversation was something called holding the line for love. And it really touched us both deeply to the point where you were like, I'm writing that down, I'm putting that on side timer. This really resonates. So I just thought maybe we could go a little deeper into what we're seeing about that and
Mm.
what that meaning and what that might even look like in community and business. I don't know, just to take it and sort of run with it. So what inspired you to write that down? And I want to do an insight timer on that. Tell me more.
Yeah. So just a quick thing. Insight Timer is a meditation app, and I'm a teacher on that. And so that's I look for material all the time to put things on there. I guess for me, particularly at the moment, seeing so much in the news that feels very unsettling. In particular, seeing what's happening in the bigger global pictures where people or countries that felt like they were allies are doing things that feel like they're shifting. There's a purposeful shifting of the world order and how things have been for the last probably, well, since the second end of the Second World War, in our culture, in our world. So that feels, we were talking last time about the shedding of a skin and it with the year of the snake and how we're going through this sense of a shedding of a skin. And it feels like that is kind of happening in the world. And often when I kind of get lost in sadness, maybe I get lost in the sadness of what I see around me in maybe the way people communicate with each other. When I get lost in the sadness of seeing sometimes what I see happen to the land around me and feeling this acute pain that I can almost like feel the land crying out that it's hurting.
Mm,
When I feel that sense of sadness, sometimes what comes with that is a real sense of helplessness, is a real sense of like I don't know what to do. I don't know
mm,
what to do. And so I think that the quote, holding the line for love, is actually something that resonates because I can do that. I absolutely can do that. I remember, and I will keep talking about the pilgrimage I walk because it's so still so fresh in my mind, and I keep learning so much from it. But I remember on one day on the pilgrimage, I was really tired, and I didn't really listen to the news, but you couldn't escape it sometimes. It was just that you were aware of some of the news that was happening in the world. And I remember I'd just been to visit an abbey that was actually still intact. It hadn't been dismantled through the Reformation. And I just left the abbey and I was just sitting down and having lunch. And I just cried and I wept. And I wasn't 100% sure why I was crying. I mean, I was tired, but I was just, I felt so sad. And I just, on my way there to that point, before I'd gone to the Abbey, I'd walked along this edge of a field, and the field was parched dry. It was dead. It was rock hard. It was dust. And on my right hand side was woodland, and it was alive with birds and bird call and greenery and spring flowers coming through. And I just felt like I was on this tightrope. And I looked left, it was dead. On my right, there was life. And that touched me deeply. And that's probably partly why I felt unsettled. And I sat down and I cried. And I remember in this moment, I said, what what can I do? I'm so like I'm so small. I'm this little person walking along 630 miles across England. Like, what can I do? And it's very rare that I get an answer that sounds like a voice. Usually I get a feeling or a tug or a sense of direction. But this came through as a voice. And it said, just walk. Oh, I'm feeling really touched now. And I thought, I can walk. I can do that. And I packed up my lunch things and I started walking. And Has that changed the environmental crisis? No. Has that influenced what's happening on the world stage? No. But I knew I could just walk. And what you said about holding the line for love landed in that same place. I can hold the line for love. I can do that. So that's why it felt so resonant for me.
Oh, that is beautiful and has so many tendrils. I just have to work out which one to go with. But what I am going to bring is what I heard my friend Laurence talk about yesterday, the 12 Buddhist monks that are walking from South America to Washington, or the bottom of America to Washington, for peace. And they're just walking for peace.
Yeah.
And we don't know where the ripples go, but that's what they're doing. And they apparently, monks have always done that. We only know about it through social media now, but they have walked through Vietnam villages that have been ravaged, witnessing with compassion. Could that be enough if that's ours to do?
Yeah.
Could that be enough to find what is ours to do, even if it's just walk? Who are we to say that isn't that's significant or not? But I do know this. I know this for sure. When I am aligned, when I am love, when I am not my insecurities, when I am being, that energy emanates out of me and it impacts others. Energy impacts energy. That's basic science. And we are energy. And the quality of our energy impacts others, and it's enough. The hand that touches the dying person is enough. The my my roommate who put the gloves on today and said, I'm just going to deal with the garden. I'm like, what's happened in the garden? Oh, I had put my garbage out in the garden and forgot to put it in the bins. So foxes came and ravaged, and the entire garden was filled with my mess. And she didn't talk about that. She just put the gloves on and she said, I'm just going to deal with the mess. That is holding the line for love. And then for me personally, it's every leader I meet, waking them up to their heart and soul and knowing that when they're aligned with their true innate wisdom, they will hold the line for love in their context, male or female. That's mine to do. That's my book. When I look at the storms and the weather, the lighthouse I am, I'm writing my book and I'm touching every leader I meet and I speak this now with you. This is mine to do. So it's not the what, it's the where we are when we express what is ours to do.
Absolutely. And I feel this really strongly. I spent a lot of my time in my younger years really feeling like I was some kind of character in a movie that was hopefully going to save the world. Whatever, I didn't really know what that meant, but it felt like I really wanted to do that. And I think what I see more and more now is that it's about hearing what is mine to do in the moment.
Mm.
And what I'm finding more and more is that what is mine to do feels really simple. So for example, talking about the garden, I've recently, in the last 2 or 3 months, I've got bird feeders and I've filled them with bird feeding nuts and things. And the delight I get, I don't know if it's a one family of sparrows or whether we just get different sparrow families coming and visiting the garden, and then they go out in a bird bath and they have a good wash, and then they catch sight of me at the window and they go, "Pff," they all like instantly fly away as one. And I know that that's mine to do, that feeding the birds. is mine to do.
Mm,
Seeing the birds interact and feeling that awe and wonder at nature, that is mine to do.
mm.
And I think I'm beginning to see this more and more. And I love it that you're in the world of business. And so what is yours to do will be different than what's mine to do. And they have, I say they have equal value, but they are equally important to the whole. That's
Yeah,
that's what I that's what I see as really important. So for me, working with particularly older women to help them get a sense of what is theirs to do, what is the light that wants to shine through, and trusting it. Because I don't know if you come across this, well, I know you do, but it is that I was speaking to one of my clients the other day, and she said, I kind of know that this is something I need to do. And then I doubt myself, and then I believe the doubts. So most people I speak to are going, can you get rid of the doubts? And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. It's like you hear what is yours to do, the doubts come up, and I use the doubts as a little bit of a sounding board. Is this still mine to do? It's like, yep, I'm going to do it and feel the doubt. It's not that we get rid of those voices. It's
mm,
that we understand what is ours to do and then we take the steps in that direction.
that's exactly right. And I think that's a rich topic to mine. How do we know what is ours? What is signal versus noise? And how do we take walk faithfully anyway in the face of doubt? So I feel like that's a whole rich area for us to deep dive into, Liz.
I think that would be I think that would be great. I think that's for a different conversation. I think this is about just waking up that curiosity about what is mine to do and realizing that there isn't a hierarchy of like somebody is more important than what I'm going to be offering. It's all important. It's
Yeah.
all important. And feeling what is yours to do authentically, getting a
Mm.
sense of that. And then I think another conversation would be great about just going, is this true? Or am I getting lost in
Mm.
some wild, crazy thinking?
Beautiful. How do we find our own unique signal and our own innate knowing of what is ours to do? Beautiful. Thank you.